Hello and welcome to our special programs. Today we are going to be talking about house framing, principally in Indonesia, but also we are going to be talking around the world, you know. And for that we have here a special guest, Mr. Lance Kerry. He's from the company Scott Day. Welcome here. And
Thank you.
and what's your name?
I'm Harsono. Yes, from Tata.
From this company, Tata Lestari. Can you give Mr. Lane a brief introduction about yourself? Where are you from? How long have you been working in the house framing industry?
Okay, so I'm from New Zealand. The technology was produced and developed in my town called Napier in the central North Island. We've been developing technology for the building industry since 1994. So we've been in the business for quite some time.
Okay, the New Zealand. Now that you mentioned New Zealand, I was reading about New Zealand, a very good country. Even though I was reading that 2 years ago, and even this year, the statistic, it say that New Zealand is the second safest country in the world. New Zealand.
Yeah, I think if we have a change of government next month, and
It will be number one.
we'll be a lot safer.
Number one will be.
Yeah. And also, I was reading about the okay. I was reading about the Manukan honey that is very popular, and it is also from New Zealand. And also, I was reading that New Zealand has about a little more than 5 million population.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's a very, let's say, safe country in general, no? Because really I don't hear too much, or I haven't heard, let's say, bad news about New Zealand.
Oh, it's a great country to visit. It's very green, has lots of lakes and tramping and bushwalking. So it's a lovely place.
And how many times have you been here in Indonesia?
This will be about my third time.
When was the first time that you came?
2010 and the beginning of this year, and this is my third time.
How has been the evolution of the house framing industry here in Indonesia? The past few years, for example, in the last 5 or 6 years to now, how has been the evolution? Faster, slowly?
Well, this question should be answered by the company using and
Okay. I try to share what I know. So, looking back to Tata, the story, in maybe 10 years ago, as I remember, 10 to 15 years ago, when they start the house framing, steel house framing product.
Yes.
If we compare to current situations, I can say that there is much changing because that is supported by the technology itself. Because at the beginning, when we started, try to introduce to the market, the response is very good, but the problem is with the product itself because it is not very good representing because it like a very fine finishing like a common house. So that first time we try to introduce to the market, but then within the last 2 years, as I remember, through our exhibitions in many of the events, I can see that the response from the the visitors to our booth is very positive, and also there is acceptance from the market or from the most people is different. Now, in the past, they don't like steel house with the steel construction for the walls, something like that, because it doesn't feel safe for them because of the finishing of the wall itself. But now, I think it's because most people have a better economy. They travel around the world. They see in other countries something like this. So they are more acceptance to this kind of solutions.
It's still housing frame.
Yes.
Well, most countries around the world, not most, but a lot of countries around the world are used to mud brick, or mud brick is still one of the most popular means of building around the world. So concrete, heavy construction, solid wall. So a lot of people, when they knock on a light gauge steel wall, they think, oh, it's not safe. But that's changing now. I mean, America, Australia, New Zealand. I mean, we're used to hollow walls, but in some countries they still like the solid feel. So some of our customers introduce heavy cladding to make it feel strong, or they may insert a lightweight concrete to infill the concrete.
Yes,
yeah,
that's correct.
And that creates more acceptance, encourages people maybe to use steel framing. So you have to have a sort of like a turnkey solution to provide all sorts of cladding, material that will go in conjunction with the light framing.
And do you consider that is it better using a steel frame over the traditional building material like concrete?
Yes.
Why?
Well, if you look at places like Pakistan, Turkey, Morocco just recently, where they have earthquakes, my own city was totally destroyed in an earthquake, so that's a motivation for me to promote lightweight construction. I mean, if you carry a lot of concrete very high off the foundation, the inertia of that will eventually bring the building down. This is too much weight.
And do you consider that there are some, let's say, misconception or misunderstanding? You know, some people maybe they don't understand maybe the benefits or the good thing of the steel framing. Do you think that some people they have that misconception, and that is why maybe they prefer to continue using the traditional method?
Well, it's all about, yes, you're definitely right. It's all about misconception because they don't know the facts. So the more information we can get out there, the more education we can provide for people, then people will then understand the benefits. I mean, a lot of governments now are struggling to keep up with the demand for housing. People are still living in very bad conditions, and governments cannot keep up. Light gauge steel framing means that we can build houses very, very quickly and cater for that need for the government to provide housing for their people.
Yes, change. So,
another thing with heavy like concrete, you have to provide to the site. You have to provide water. Sometimes it's difficult to get water to site. You have to provide sand, cement. Some of these items in countries are getting quite scarce, and then it's the mess that goes with it. It's the time frame. It's a very slow material to use to construct multi-story. Whereas light gauge steel framing can be put up very, very quickly.
And the company, Scott, they have customers in more than 80 countries.
Yes, more than 80 countries, maybe 85. The most recent one is Papua New Guinea, which is near here. So, yeah, so in a lot of countries, providing the technology for our customers.
It's in, for example, Latin America and Caribbean as well.
Yep. Argentina. We have a customer in Argentina who covers the South American market for us.
Oh, okay.
And they provide the training and support, and we provide the training and support for them.
And the very good thing is that from Argentina, there is, let's say, very good connection. It is, let's say, almost close to many countries around. You know, Argentina, Chile, they have borders. It's very close. Argentina, Chile, Uruguay, Paraguay, Peru, they are very close. This is the very good thing of the Latin America. There is a lot of connection between the countries.
Yes, support is a big thing in any technology that you're providing around the world. So it's good to have good representation in South America. North America, we have great product and customers there as well. Africa, Asia.
Yeah, you are everywhere, practically.
Yes, yeah.
And I guess in Australia as well, because New Zealand is very close to Australia.
Yeah, well, our head office is now based in Australia, and we have a big market there. One of our customers there produces anywhere up to 24 kilometres of steel a day.
Oh,
that's kilometres.
Very huge. That is wonderful. About Indonesia, let's jump. I'm going to be jumping from New Zealand now to here Indonesia. What are the let's say the principal challenges that we have here in Indonesia in the steel housing industry?
I think the challenge is the market education of this kind of solutions, because in the past, if people see a metal sheet or metal house, it looks like something referred to a warehouse or workshop. It's not as a residential or housing for people to live in. But now, I think that is changing, and also we see many of the architects here, the young architects especially, they are very creative. They want to do something different. They come out with new ideas, with the minimalist design of housing, which is very nice. Yeah, and then people here is like to follow someone that is already do something which is looks good, and then they just follow. They don't care, and they don't ask many things. But before someone use that, usually they try to hold themselves. That's typical of Indonesian, I can see. In the past, Tata also had problem in educating the market. When we start the roof trusses, try to change from the timber structure. So it's very difficult. It takes many years, but because we are keeping educating the market, and now you can see that almost every single house they use this trusses, steel truss. It's become a common solutions.
But principally here in Jakarta, you mean in Jakarta or in other provinces as well, in other areas?
Yeah.
In all?
Yes, for the roof trusses. Because of that effort in educating the market, every time we have the opportunity, we are going around the cities around Indonesia, educating and also give training to the workers, laborers, how to use and how to screw the trusses, because it is changing of the way they do in the past. It's different, totally different.
No, and the great thing is that people, they can see the result. It's more than that. People see the result and they're going to follow that path, let's say.
Yes. And also, we're trying to make our product available all over the Indonesian big cities and also small cities through our agents. It's easy to get the material. Yeah, if they can find it easily, then they want to buy and use the material.
And how is the Indonesia market, compared to other countries? I'm talking about adopting the steel framing, or maybe both of you could answer this question.
Well, this is a young market. It's only just beginning. So it comes back down to education, marketing, getting the name out there, getting alongside government, people.
Comparing with some countries of Latin America, for example, do you see that Indonesia, they are more open, to adopting this steel framing house?
Well, they're influenced by North America as well. Yeah, so a lot of South American people do travel the north and follow what the North Americans do, so it filters down. But I would say, not knowing much about this market, but being here a few times, this is a new market. historically, our framing was used mainly for the mines. So overseas countries are okay with steel framing because they've seen it in their own country, so they adopt the steel framing quite easily. And so we've done some pretty major um, um, accommodation units, two-story units.
Yes.
So the housing market is relatively new, and so this is very pioneering. And so that, once again, it comes down to getting the information out to customers, the people that want to use the product, where do they purchase it, who can put the framing up, where do I buy the cladding, what sort of door framing do I use? So it's all about providing all those questions, or all the answers to all the questions that may come up.
For you, Indonesia here, are there, specific region, area or demographic here in Indonesia that are more receptive to the steel frame houses?
Yeah, correct. In the past, when we start the business, when we start selling only the metal tile roofing material, we find out that it is very interesting for area like Java Island, especially, where people is easily can find clay tiles, concrete tiles. They don't want the metal cladding or metal roof. But outside Java, like Sumatra or Kalimantan, they are more acceptable to metal roofing because there they use it. I remember when I was in my childhood, I was born in Sumatra. I can see nearby our house, people use galvanized steel housing roofing. Is common. They don't care about the noise when it's raining or the people say it's hot, but they're used to it, so they are more acceptable to this roofing material, metal solutions. But now in Java, I think because also the part of educating the market, the promotion or marketing activities, try to spread the knowledge to the public. People now are using this metal product for their houses, for residential estate. If you go around Jakarta, you can easily find some residential estate. I said before, the architects play a very important role there. They do that. They give it to the owners in a very good designs, very modern. So they try and use it. And now people get used to it. It's no big deal at the moment for Java as well.
It's good getting the word out to those specifiers who specify product.
Correct.
That's key. Any material that maybe that lands on an architect's desk, say a magazine, it's important to get that information in those magazines, so architects then can say, well, yes, I can see myself promoting this product. I mean, lightweight roofs come in multiple colours, whereas clay tiles mostly come in a clay coloured tile. So there's lots of options. I mean, it wasn't that long ago where doors and window frames were wooden, and now using steel, aluminium, or another product.
Yes. It's also a challenge for us because we have to keep up with the trends in the market. People like cladding for the walls with certain colors, certain profile. So we have to keep up with that so that we can go hand in hand with the architects or space buyers.
Very good. How do contractor, applicator, and the distribution network play a role in promoting the steel house framing?
I think it's still start from our side at the moment because the way we do it is like Len said, through the specifiers. So we do a lot of training seminars through campus, or working together with association of contractors promoting this material. So, and we also invite our contractors or our distributors come at certain events. So also we give trainings to laborers or workers through and joining with the distributors or agents. So yeah, they now see the benefit of doing this. In the past, they don't do the things because they just sit in the shop and waiting for the consumers to come and buy the product. But now it has to change the way they do the business after we introduced that to them.
Then, no.
I think forming alliances, collaborations with similar technologies is important. In our country, we've got what we call the NASH, which is the National Association of Steel Frame Housing. So together as an association, you can lobby government or provide a standard that governments are looking for, and then that then raises the bar for everybody, for any technology that's using a light frame like steel framing. Because there's other technologies, we aren't the only technology, but together bringing everybody from light gauge steel into one organisation, we can then get some standards and promote the technology to government.
In this case, this is for you because you go to Latin America. Many Latin American countries, they are unstable. They are not stable is because the political situation, a lot of problems. It doesn't affect you in that way to do business in Latin American countries.
No, because we're not the customer. It would be the customer that is wanting to buy the technology. He's the one dealing with it. We have a situation now where we have a company that's purchased a machine, and it's very hard for them to get US dollars out of the country to pay for the freight. They own the machine, but they can't get those US dollars to bring the machine into the country, and then you'll have the tax to pay. So yes, there are difficulties, but problems can be solved. It's a matter of solving those. Yeah.
Because the business is, let's say, you do it, your company, you do it with other companies. No, it's a government.
No, we don't deal with the government. The local company will be dealing with their own government.
Yeah, then that company there is the one that have to do all the process and everything.
Yeah.
That it's better like that because doing business directly with the government, I say because of some political situation that happen constantly in many Latin American countries, then it would be very difficult to do business.
Yes. Yeah. No, we don't deal with that. We're just a technology provider.
What can companies like Tata Metal, Lestari do to support and promote the industry?
I think as I mentioned also before, we try to join and work together with many associations in the same industry and support them. Something like seminars or certifications for workers through our trainings. So that's some of the activities that Tata Metal or Tata Local is doing at the moment.
And also doing this program is excellent.
Yes.
Come on, you need to mention this. No, because this is very important. Social media, I say it works 24 hours.
Yes.
Everybody, maybe here is sleeping in other country, they can watch this video. But I see that people need to get, let's say, education about this topic.
Yes.
This is, I think, the big problem. Even for me, I didn't know. When I came here, I have been already, here in Indonesia 2 years and a half. I'm connected with this company.
Yes.
Maybe 3 months only, 3 or 4 months. But I have been learning a lot that before I didn't know. I am journalist, but not specialized, construction and things like that. But now I have been learning a lot, but a lot.
Yeah.
Even when I came here, if somebody asked me, Nivaldo, can you show me some steel here? It would be maybe very hard for me because steel. Because it's something that I don't use every day,
Yes.
like in construction, things like that. I see that what I see is that people need to get more education,
Information,
about
yeah.
this topic, like the steel house framing. People they need to know.
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah, got it.
Yes, I mean, in some markets, to get momentum, they've done airtime on TV. But when you do airtime on TV and you promote a product and a solution, when people pick up the phone, they need to have all the answers.
Mm.
Where do I buy the steel from? Steel framing. Who is going to erect the building? Fortunately, with Tata Metal, they have a lot of roofing companies that are already familiar with using steel. They know how to cut steel,
Yes.
and so there's an industry out there that can embrace the steel frame because they're already familiar with steel. So I think Tata Metal have a very good chance of doing quite well here in Indonesia.
And between here, because you are now here in Indonesia, and your company is based in New Zealand. Let's talk about technology. They use the same technology or different. There is better than here.
No, well, our technology is used in our own country, in Australia, America, and a lot of other countries. So it's the same technology. In New Zealand, we use timber a lot. So timber, steel's a direct replacement for timber because it's framing. So any country that already adopts or has adopted timber framing can swap the timber framing for steel framing. Steel framing is lighter, straighter, inherently stronger by weight. Timber on long spans struggle to support its own weight, let alone any other weight. So light gauge steel framing for countries that already adopted the framing, stick framing, then they will adopt the steel framing quite quickly. Here, be a little different. You'll need to market, and I mean people only know what they know. So unless you actually get out there and tell them what you do, where to get it, and where to get the support and the cladding, and have a turnkey solution, you'll struggle to get momentum.
Other thing, because I'm thinking now, is the one of the benefits of the steel framing over, for example, the wood framing, is that now it is, let's say, very popular, or more people they are in favor, of the protection of the environment. And for example, the frame, the wood came from the tree, and now they are in,
The green energy.
they want to protect.
Environment.
Then let's say it's a good moment, let's say, to more people get more interested, in the steel framing. This is all the reason, no?
Over timber. So are you saying timber's more friendly to the environment or steel?
No, I mean the wood, they came from the tree. They need to cut tree.
Yeah.
Then in many countries, the organization around the world, they are against that.
Chopping of
It's
trees.
chopping tree and
Yeah, that's right. I mean, but also steel framing might be 6 cars that have been melted down, equivalent to one large house. So you're recycling old cars, melting them down, and then producing the steel for these houses. So you're recycling the steel to make the steel framing housing.
what is not, let's say, cheaper? Steel framing, for example, imagine that I want to have my house. What is cheaper? The steel framing or the kind of material frame?
Well, historically, there's been very little difference. So you're not going to save a fortune on doing steel framing. I'll be quite honest with that. But if you're a developer and you're building, say, 500 houses, you can build the 500 houses in half the time. So then you can get on to the next project 50% quicker, and so you can get your money back on the development. So you can build very quickly with steel framing opposed to timber framing. There could be some saving on the steel framing, especially with the market now. I was saying historically, but over the last 2 or 3 years, timber prices have been going through the roof, and it's been very, very difficult for for builders to get timber,
especially the quality one.
Yes, and our company has never been so busy. We are 3 times more busy than we've ever been. Our factory is just laden with machines waiting to go out the door, and so and this is directly due to timber prices and availability. Availability is another very big key. Canada, I mean, they're importing timber. Who would ever thought they would be doing that?
Then here in Indonesia, what step can be taken to make more people here in Indonesia, the homeowner, interested, in steel house framing? What other steps can be made?
Homeowners, you mean? Yeah. Usually, I think marketing activities like an exhibition is the best way to catch people to come, and because they like spending their weekends with families, and then they go and come to exhibition hall to look around, and sometimes through that activities or events, that we got the opportunity to educate them, to share the knowledge with the homeowners. Sometimes they are renovating their house, they try to find certain material for their house, then they come to exhibition events to look for solutions or material that suits their requirements. I think that's probably one thing to do. In the past, maybe the TV ads, but nowadays it's not the way. I think the social media becomes one of the way to reach homeowners very easily. As you said, 24/7. People can anytime they just visit your website or your whatever to find the information or product you need.
One thing that's been quite evident around the world is this tiny houses. And that is
Tiny
houses.
Small house.
Yeah, small houses. In America, it's very popular.
It's huge. And they've been doing it out of timber, but the problem with timber, it's 5 times heavier. And so when you're going down the road and you're going over bumps or you're going around corners, there's a lot of stress on these buildings. So they're trying to get it lighter. And the obvious answer is to go lightweight steel framing. So tiny houses now are predominantly going all steel framing. Notice in our country, America, they're all going lightweight steel framing. The other big market now is modular housing, where you might have 2, 3, 4 modules, and they just come to site and they plonk them on the site, and then the next couple of days you're living in your house. Schools, I've just come from a company that produce modular schools. Schools don't want construction on their site. It's a hazard, safety. So what they want to do is they want to provide the foundations and bring in the modules, and then there's your school within a week, all set up. And so to do modular housing, you need lightweight construction because there's cranes and things like that. Also retirement villages, they all seem to be schools, retirement villages, all like in Australia, they're going steel because the ambient temperature is quite warm in these buildings. With timber when it gets hot or moist, it can change its shape, and so you get popping in the plasterboard, and you get studs changing shape because of the the ambient temperature is not natural, and it's been forced to dry. And once again, if you get humidity, then the timber will then suck the moisture in, and it will then change again. So steel it doesn't care about moisture. You make water tanks out of the steel. So steel is just, you put it in the building, you clad it, and it stays there. It doesn't move. So that's a good plug for steel framing over timber framing.
And steel framing, is it good as well for example, I'm thinking hotels, 10 or 12 floors, or is it better to houses, 1 or 2 floor only?
Well, predominantly, most high rises around the world is all using steel as partition, as lightweight, as infills. So that's been used for quite some time. USG, Rondo, they all been using light gauge steel framing for their infill walls. To build a high-rise hotel out of this, you would need third-party structural steel and bracing just to achieve that. The strength is there, but if you're in a cyclonic region or earthquake and you go very, very high, you're going to have to need some lift shafts. Off the lift shafts, you may need some shear walls in the X and the Y to stop any movement.
I'm thinking, let's say, in the close future, is there any, let's say, technology or innovation that your company or here in Indonesia as well, that they're thinking, maybe to put in practice to get better result, or to make maybe a strong product?
As far as Scottsdale goes, we're predominantly fixed on the steel framing and getting the engineering for each country up to a level where people will then be able to engineer within their own countries our technology. What I would be thinking more along the lines is the cladding side, or maybe the infill of the frame to make it solid with maybe lightweight concrete. Those sort of add-ons, I think, is where it's needed to maybe go a bit further to make it more acceptable in a lot of countries.
And here in Indonesia, because for example, this connection with this company is very good. Last week or a couple of weeks ago, also they came here people from other companies. What I see here in Cataloga is that they have a partnership, a connection with other companies. What I see here in Cataloga is that there is no kind of the competition, because when we think in competition, is that, oh no, we cannot talk or to be close to the competition. But here I see it different. They have more connection with other companies related to the same field.
Yeah, I think nowadays, like Lance mentioned it before, collaboration is something we cannot ignore. We don't have all the solution for every problem of every needs. We need others to come together. Sometimes there is the shortage of the capacity, or resources. By working together with similar industry in the industry, means it's easier to and we can do more together. We can grow together. So I think that's the way to go at the moment. And Tata has started this long time ago.
No, I love this because I came from other place of the world. I'm originally from Cuba, but I live in America, but I have been living in Mexico and traveling. And in other countries, what I see is the two companies, if they belong to the same field, they don't connect because they say, they are going to steal my idea. But really, there is, there are business for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, we've noticed in the 90s where we maybe have given a bit of an exclusivity to a particular region, that market never grew because the person who had the exclusivity kept it to himself, only did work for themselves. The market never grew. As soon as we took the market off them and introduced new players, the market grew. Because some companies will do a better job than others. So if someone's successful because they're putting out a good product, a good service, then they will get the business. Those who put out bad service, bad product, they'll go along the wayside. So competition is good to grow the market. The more people doing it, the bigger the market share will be for everybody.
Yeah, you have a better benchmarking.
There's very good kind of competition and collaboration at the same time, let's say, because there is, let's say, a market, everybody, let's say, every company can take some part of the market. It's so big, and every time it's increasing.
I mean, look at Mexico. You live there.
Yeah, Mexico.
How many houses do they lose every earthquake they get there? The houses fall down, people die, and they rebuild out of the same technology. A few more years later, the house falls down. You did it out of light gauge steel framing, that house will be there year after year, earthquake after earthquake.
Yeah, in the case of Mexico. In this case, Indonesia has a very, very good thing in Indonesia, the population. Jakarta has very high population, even more than the population of Jakarta is higher than your country. Bueno, and Cuba is we have now 11 million of our population. Then the future. Talking about the future, what is your vision about the future of the let's say the house framing industry here? Not only the steel, in general, because maybe it's going to change. Do you think it's going to change?
I think the biggest challenge for the government as well is the shortage of supply housing for the people. They cannot catch up. Every year there's more and more shortages of supplying houses. So the opportunity is very huge.
Then for the company, for the business, it's good. I mean, if more people want houses, but maybe that part of do you think that in the future the government is going to be, let's say, more close, more interested, let's say, in cooperate in houses and put more money?
Definitely, because of better economy, better income for most of the people in Indonesia, they can afford buying houses. And also we see that many developers, they try to offer different solutions, smaller houses, so that it is affordable for young couples to buy. And Tata also provide and build doubles for housing. So we see a growing of demands from the market.
And the demand for the market can be met because they can have more machines. They could have a mobile machine where the machine could go out to, maybe there's some devastation, and then you have to go and build a new village. They could then take the mobile factory and place it onto the ground, open up the doors, start the generator, start producing the framing. So we can mobilize directly where the issues are.
I'm thinking now about Bali, because when people mention, Indonesia, people outside of Indonesia. By the way, I was thinking that Bali was a country. Many people they think. Many people.
Where's Indonesia in Bali?
They don't, no. Some people say, "Oh yeah, where is Indonesia? Oh, maybe Indonesia is the capital of Bali." But many people in America or other Latin American country, they think, "Oh, Bali is a country." They don't think that it's a province.
It's a tourist destination.
Yeah, it's touristic. Yeah. Because, by the way, I was there when I came from America to here almost 3 years ago. I went directly to Bali. I was 3 months there.
Oh, not Indonesia.
Yeah. After then, I have to use my passport to came from Bali to to other countries. No?
Other cities. Indonesia, other countries.
But my question is, for example, in Mali, how is the culture or accepting of people about the steel framing houses? You know, because it's very touristic. People they are more open to that.
I think maybe not for the housing related with that unique shape of the because of the culture, but maybe for the other facility. This material can be used as lancet wall inside the house, not the out part of the house, out the skin of the house. So and also the other solution, something like we also have the, other products. So like car park or canopy for the carport. Yeah. So it's different solution for different area. I think for Bali is a maybe different.
Yeah, it's more touristic. What I saw in Bali was exactly more
They use brick,
traditional, a lot of wood, things like that. It's different.
Yes.
Okay, what is any this is final thought or advice for homeowners that maybe they are considering or thinking to get a house, you know, a steel house frame? Any advice for them? Imagine that I want to be a homeowner. I haven't decided yet what kind of house I'm going to use. What you would tell me?
Okay. Here in Tata we have engineering team, and there we have architects. They can help our customer if they don't have any ideas how to. If they want to buy to build a house, they don't have any idea what kind of house. We have a certain solution or designs for these homeowners to choose from our standard design. But when they have their own design, they can come to us with the drawings, and we can provide the solution for the structure of the building. And also we bid for them as they need.
Oh, they can bring also their own design
yes.
or idea.
Yes.
You know, and the engineer can try to.
Yes,
that is
that's what we can do. Yeah.
They do the program
Not only
software.
not only this in terms of design of the house, but also the analyzing of the structure, the engineering design. We also can do that.
That is great.
To the customer.
In the case your company is kind of a little different than here. They make the house, or no? Your company only they sell
Yeah, we only provide the technology.
the technology.
Yeah. So we don't actually build the houses for customers.
But the customer they can go there and maybe to get the idea of what they want to.
No, we deal with the we deal with the Tata metal companies. We don't deal with the public.
Oh,
So
your
we
connection with
provide the
provide to
It's not the finished product they are providing here. While Tata is providing the finished product.
from them.
Okay.
Okay. That is very good. Your company is thinking, for example, in the future to add some of the product, or they are going to continue with that line, you know, providing. Let's say I like to say the skeleton. You know, the framing, the skeleton of the house.
It is the skeleton or the backbone of the house. We haven't looked at introducing any product to our technology. We've just recently purchased a 60-year-old roll forming company in America. So we now own a roll forming company. They produce much bigger machines than ours, and so we can then add that to our list of technology that we can provide. So it does the large floor joists. The machine does 6 profiles. So we can cater for most customers' needs. So that's a new thing that we've been doing is we've purchased a new company.
And also, I was reading the website of the company that the company they sell some machine, this machine to do then the steel frame or to cut something. I think I was reading that the company sold I don't know how many machines to other customer around the world.
Well, I think we're saying we've sold 16,000.
Something like that.
Yeah. So that's combined. That's with the new acquisition of a new company and the Scotch style machines. So combined,
okay.
that would be the amount of machines that would put out there.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, something else that you can add? Something else, some other information you want to provide to everybody? This is a good moment.
Well, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, sure.
Tata Metal, I mean, what's your plans regarding maybe having a show home that the public can come and walk around and look at the kitchen and the bedrooms and what lights you use and having parts of the building exposed so they can see the framing and they can see what floor material is available.
Yes.
That type of assistance would be great for people to touch and feel and smell and see it for themselves. I mean, seeing is believing.
Yeah.
And so I think if you don't show, you don't go. You know.
Yeah, I think it would be great, because if we don't show the product, let's say the people that are not going, I mean, show the people actually they can touch it, enjoy it, they can go inside.
Yes.
Even they say, oh, you can take a little nap there, and that they give some snack or food, they can feel welcome. Yeah, I think it would be a good idea. Even about thinking about how to educate people. I want to ask this. Is there, some workshop or like basic seminar in the community?
Okay, maybe I answer your questions, Lance. Actually, we at Alogam already get some what do you call real house, 1 story and 2 story, not far from here at the moment. Actually, at our outlet as well, in some area, and also some of Tata Locum facilities is built with our own material. So we try to use that and in the same time use as a what you call display for people when they come visit our factory or visit our facilities. We can show them, oh, this is the material that we are talking to you, how it looks like. You can feel it, you can knock if you want, whatever you want to do with that. You can see the material that we use. In certain area, we expose the material. We don't cover with the walls or the ceilings, so they can see. Okay, that's it. The material for roof trusses. This is the material for your structure, your wall frame.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the thing we do. And also, sorry.
Oh, and then you would have your pre-designed houses that people could pick from, couldn't they?
Oh yeah. We have many of pre-designed houses. Yeah, they can choose from. Yeah, that's the easiest way, the quickest, fastest way for people to choose, and then they know how much it costs, whether it is meet their budget or not. If it doesn't meet their budget, they want to change something, we can do it also with for that requirements.
Do you provide finance?
No, at the moment. Yeah, but what we have introduced to certain banks or financial institutions. Yeah. Your
my
seminars
question,
for community. Not in such way. I think we still do a lot of things. Maybe the closest is to like Tata goes to campus. Try to introduce this technology, because in many of universities, this kind of lightweight steel technology is something new to them. So it's a very good opportunity to educate the young people. We expect that after they graduated from the university, they go into the professional works in maybe 5 or 10 years. Then they still have in their mind about this.
Because our technology is building a house in a computer, a 3D model. So these young kids can design these models, and it's
very modern, very
modern.
I watched the video in the website of your company. Exactly, I saw the software. People working software. The computer. It was like that. It was very interesting. And young people, they love this. Maybe they can create in the future kind of some games or things like that related to. We don't know, about the.
They don't want to get their hands dirty building it. They just want to sit behind a computer and build it on the keyboard. Keyboard builders now.
It's very great. Thank you very much for the great information. We have here a very good time, and a lot of people that are going to learn something new, starting from me and learning from you a lot. Thank you very much, everybody, for being here. Then we are going to see very soon. Adiós.
Adiós, amigos.
Adiós, amigos.